What the? How? Hello, people of the internet. Welcome to the very first episode of What the How. I'm your host Kshitij, and in this podcast, we dive into the world's most bizarre and interesting events to happen, only to let you think, what the? How did that even happen? Imagine you ran out of milk or something in the morning and you thought, no worries, maybe I'll grab a fresh cup of cappuccino or maybe a mocha from my favorite cafe on O'Connell Street, and you drive there only to see that something is wrong, something is different, something's definitely wrong. So you call the guard out and ask what's happening, what's the issue, and the guard tells you, mate, the bridge was stolen last night, there's nothing they can do, so you can't go in there. Well folks, that's exactly what today's episode is going to be about. This insane heist happened in 2022 in Bihar, India. And trust me, I'm not exaggerating at all. This was not a small pedestrian bridge. It was a full-fledged 60 feet long iron bridge that was stolen in broad daylight. Poof! Vanished like a magic trick. But the interesting part here is, how do you even come up with such an absurd idea? Maybe they were having a round table conference, sipping their whiskeys, while one of the members were very stressed out, thinking about the bills to pay, the rent to pay. And he said, let's do something big this time. And someone might have suggested, let's rob a phone store, but that's too mainstream. Maybe artwork, but that's very boring. Why don't we get something like a bridge? And I get it, because this is only possible in Bihar, India. Let me paint a picture for you. Bihar, that we're talking about, is a real life Grand Theft Auto of India, where people, and again, I mean no exaggeration here, people have stolen train engines, mobile towers, even a road, not a small one, a 2-kilometer long, fully constructed road. I don't know what they did with it. I don't know where they even kept it. But now the bridge seems to be the only next logical thing. It's like, and this gets me every time, it's like Nokia connecting people, Bihar disconnecting people. Jokes apart, now I would like to hear from you guys, what are the most ridiculous stories that you have heard of an item being stolen or something completely out of the box? Please share the stories on social media, tag the podcast, and if you're listening on Spotify, answer the interactive poll. And here's the question for all the What the How detectives. How do you think these thieves, the gang of thieves, pulled this off without any suspicion? Drop your theories in the interactive poll, and maybe your theories could be featured in the next episode. So finally, how did they do it? It's fairly simple, or maybe not. It could have been very planned, but they simply went in with crisp ironed white shirts, looking like government officials, with excavators and welding equipment, with documents, fake of course. And here's the real kicker. The locals actually thought the government is doing something useful, and they helped them. It was a 3-day heist that they pulled off, working from 7 a.m. in the morning to late in the evening, cutting down the metal part by part and loading it into trucks and then selling it. Only if they could have been real officials, I would have said, job well done. But here's what we have learned today, that human ingenuity has no bounds, even if it is used for the most ridiculous crimes. The stolen bridge might seem absurd, but to me, it's the story about trust, about oversight, and creativity gone rogue, completely rogue. Thank you for joining me for this wild ride, and do not forget to follow What the Hub. Until next time, keep questioning, keep laughing, and maybe the most absurd idea that you have could come to reality in a very weird way. So keep trying. Thank you. Until next time.